Well, look at that. Before you know it, we're going to be at Christmas, and right now we're already at October.
Wow.
How crazy is that? I mean, you're looking outside,
I
it's so
know.
beautiful. I don't want to let go of summer yet.
No, this is my favorite time of year. I love all the
Oh,
colors.
there you go. And
Yeah.
it is beautiful.
It is.
So,
for sure.
welcome everybody. Today we are going to be going over the September stats.
Yep.
So, the Greater Edmonton Area releases the stats here for us, the real estate board, right at the beginning of the month for the previous month. So, we're going to go over September's stats for the Edmonton area as well as the Greater Edmonton area. So, Rita is over here with me,
right.
and she's going to take care of the Greater Edmonton area, and I will go over the Edmonton area. Of course, we will have all of the links to these stats for you in the links below. We'll also post them on the actual video itself so you can follow along. But just for comparison's sake, it's really fun. We're going to do a little bit of a structure here where we're going to go over the average prices first because everybody wants to know the average price, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So what happened with that? Then we're going to go over the listings, the number of listings, the inventory, the number of sales, the inventory there.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to do some fun stuff about the high rollers and kind of go from there.
Sounds good.
So without further ado, let's start with the overall average price, Greater Edmonton area, and this is including all residential types, whether it's single family or whether it's duplex or apartment style condo or even acreages.
Yep.
What have we got?
We have the average price for all residential, $453,000, and that is actually a slight decrease from last month of 1.8%, but overall increase from last year of 2.8%.
There you go. So
still moving in the right direction.
Yeah, if you were buying something last year, you were earning equity just by living.
From being
How
there.
nice
Exactly.
is that? How nice is that? So that's for the Greater Edmonton area. That includes all of the acreages, all of the smaller communities around Edmonton.
Yep.
You know, Short Park,
St.
St.
Albert,
Albert, Fort
Leduc,
Saskatchewan, all those, and all the little places that are combined, like Kalmar. I mean, everything's in there. So for what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to strictly talk about Edmonton, the city of Edmonton itself.
Okay.
So how does this compare? The city of Edmonton is average 420,000.
Oh wow,
compared
a
to
little bit
your
less. 453,000.
So there you go. So it just goes to show you that the Greater Edmonton area has a lot of diverse types of homes.
Right.
And there are some really high-end acreages in the Greater Edmonton area.
That's right,
Which
probably.
actually drives up the price quite a bit.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
And not to say that Edmonton itself doesn't have some high-end homes, because it does.
Yep.
But certainly there are plenty of communities around Edmonton that also have it.
Yep.
So now we're going to break it down into types of residential homes. So meaning detached versus duplex versus row house versus apartment.
That's right.
Let's start with detached.
All right.
Greater Edmonton area?
So Greater Edmonton area for detached, the average price was $554,000.
Again, higher because in Edmonton,
That's right.
540,000.
That's right. And here's something interesting. From last month, a slight decrease of 2.8%, but overall from the year before, an increase of 0.2%. So still an increase.
There you go. Yeah. And very similar in Edmonton. It was a slight decrease month over month from August to September of 2%. And then there's a slight increase year over year from September 2024 of just 0.3%.
Yeah,
so we're going in the right direction. However, it is September stats.
That's
so
true.
September is when we typically see everybody come back to the marketplace
Right.
after summer holidays.
Yep.
So things are just starting to get active. So it'll be interesting to see how that compares with October.
All right.
So moving down, next is the
duplexes. Semi-detached or duplexes. The average price in the Greater Edmonton area is $434,000, which we actually saw an increase of 3.1% from last month and an overall increase of 5.3% from last year.
Well, how close is this? So in Edmonton, very, very close, very similar. $429,000 is the average price for a duplex, for a semi-attached.
Yep.
And we also saw a month-over-month increase of just around 2%. And then year-over-year, we saw 3.6%.
Yep.
So this duplex category or attached category is very, very active, very highly sought after because you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Compared to, you can have the same size roughly the same size home, detached versus duplex, and pay about $100,000 difference.
Yep.
Look at that, 540 versus 429.
Yep.
So, and that theme will continue on as we go forward.
Oh, for sure.
Let's take a look at what the row house. So row house, townhouse means that you have neighbors on both sides.
Right.
Unless you're an end unit, of course.
Right, exactly.
So what does that look like?
So the average price for the Greater Edmonton area for the townhomes is $303,000, which saw a slight increase of 0.5% from the previous month, but an increase of 3.4% from last year.
How interesting is that?
That is really interesting.
In Edmonton, we're at an average of 296,000. And we saw a slight decrease in month-over-month pricing of 1.7%. But year-over-year, we saw an increase of 4.9%.
Wow.
So last year in September, if you would have bought a townhouse back then in Edmonton, you just earned yourself 5% increase. That's basically your down payment back.
Pretty much. That's pretty impressive.
How nice is that?
Yep.
Now, again, what's interesting is just comparing all the different categories.
Yep.
Again, there's roughly, actually a little more than $100,000 difference between a townhome and a duplex.
Right.
So if you're okay with a duplex and you have one neighbor, shouldn't you be okay with having two neighbors?
And sometimes one.
Right? Sometimes if you're an Indian, you have one, but you can save yourself $100,000 for roughly the same size.
Exactly.
How cool is that? So very interesting. Last but not least, apartment style condos.
That's right. So for the Greater Edmonton area, the apartment style condos, we are at an average of $207,000, which we saw a bit of a decrease from last month of 4.9%, but again, an overall increase from last year of 3.8%. So again, doing nothing, you saw an almost 4% increase.
Right. So again, almost getting your deposit back, your down payment back. So very, very similar for Edmonton. We're at $201,000 for the average price in September.
Yep.
And same thing if you look at month over month, there was a slight decrease in prices of about 3.7%. But year over year, this is the important one, you actually saw an increase of almost 3%.
Wow.
So again, similar story to what you just described in the Greater Edmonton area.
Yep.
Now let's go in to see what is happening. What can we see happening in the future, which is basically based on our inventory levels.
Right. Okay.
So new listings. How many new listings have we had in the month of September, and how many do we have total year to date?
For sure. So again, for the Greater Edmonton area, we are looking at the current month of 3,645 new listings, and year to date 33,000.
33,000. So that is including Edmonton.
That's correct.
Plus all the
surrounding areas.
Because when I give you these numbers, like, what's going on here?
Now, what's interesting is that number shows a slight increase of only 0.1% from last month. But look at this, from last year, an increase of 16.3%. That is significant.
Significant, exactly. Yeah. So what that means is that we have 16% more listings to choose from, so buyers have more choice.
Exactly.
Which is a win-win.
For sure it is.
Now, that's very similar numbers to what I see in Edmonton. Actually, even more pronounced. So in Edmonton, the current month, so meaning the September month, we had 2,640 new listings, which was a total of 24,000 listings for the year.
Wow.
Now, again, we saw a slight increase, but this is normal. So we had a 1.5% increase month over month, meaning from August to September.
Yep.
Of course, in August, people are still on holidays.
That's right.
Nobody's thinking about going back to school and getting back into buying houses and stuff like that. So we're seeing this increase now. I am expecting it to go up again in October.
Right.
Because that's when we're really active.
Exactly.
So for our viewers, a lot of people don't realize that spring is our busy season. That's the busiest season we have. And I mean early spring, starting in January, moving on all the way till June. But our second busiest season is actually fall.
Right.
So right now we're in the midst of it. So it'll be interesting to see how those numbers play out. Now, what's interesting, just like your year over year was much higher, in Edmonton's even higher yet. 19.2% more listings this year versus last year.
Yep.
So in the city of Edmonton, you actually as a buyer have even more choice than in the outskirts.
Right.
Good news. So total inventory.
So total inventory right now for the current Greater Edmonton area, we're sitting at 7,085, which actually translates to 3.2 months of inventory.
What does that mean? What does months of inventory
So
mean?
months of inventory mean we're still favoring a seller's market. Just to give you an example, a balanced market would be about 6 months of inventory. Right. So we're still sitting at a fairly healthy seller's market at this
for
point.
those who are just entering the market for the first time, maybe they don't even know, what does months of inventory actually translate to? What does that mean?
So what that means is if we stop taking new listings today, we would run out of listings in approximately 3.2 months.
Which is not very long.
No, it's not very long at all. Yeah.
Now, you come with a vast wealth of experience from larger centers,
right.
different market conditions.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me, 3.2 months, that's a very much pronounced seller's market.
It is,
still.
Absolutely. Definitely favors a seller's market.
We are kind of hovering in that slowly but surely increasing inventory levels. So it's still good for the buyers,
right?
But you don't want to wait too long because the good listings sell first.
Exactly.
And then the buyers are left over with the ones that nobody wants.
Exactly, the ones that sit stale on the market.
So it's very similar numbers. So of course, you remember we were talking about your total inventory for the whole Greater Edmonton area was again
7,085. And yours for
Edmonton,
the Edmonton,
if you take out just Edmonton, is 5,300, so 5,298 to be exact. So, and you were saying 3.2 months in the whole Greater Edmonton area of inventory. In Edmonton itself, it's a little bit more, 3.6.
Yeah, but it's still a healthy seller's market. Definitely.
Very much so. So we are far from the market conditions we saw BC. BC meaning not before Christ, but before COVID. So before COVID, we were very much in a buyer's market where we saw 6, 7, 8, 9 months of inventory.
Right.
Our inventory numbers were 10, 12, 13, 15,000, not 5,000 in Edmonton alone.
Significant difference, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's go into the sales. How many sales have there been in September for the whole Greater Edmonton area?
For the whole Greater Edmonton area, we've had 2,192 sales for the current month, but for the year to date, we had 22,000. So what that means is for the month, it was a decrease of 7.8% and an overall from the previous year decrease of 2.9%.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So, and the reason for that is because we saw tremendous gains in overall price back from 2021 to 2022 to 2023 to 2024.
Right.
And now we're seeing that things are actually slowly but surely starting to stabilize. We're still increasing in price.
For sure. But these are maybe slight corrections in the market.
Slight corrections. And what we're also seeing is from our friends down south in Calgary, they are seeing much more drastically pronounced numbers of things slowing down because their prices really skyrocketed over the last 3 months or 3 years. As a matter of fact, they went up by 50% in the last 3 years.
Wow.
So the spread between Edmonton and Calgary, so just to put it into perspective, we used to enjoy about $100,000 difference between Edmonton and Calgary for average prices. Right now, we're closer to $270,000 difference.
That is a big difference.
So this average price that we're talking about, say, average detached price in Edmonton is $540,000. Over there, it's $800,000.
Wow.
Huge difference for the same house.
That is a huge difference.
Just different city, just a few, three hours south. So that does make a huge difference.
For sure.
Now, for the prices to start to stabilize, that's a good thing. But I can still see the prices are going to continue to trend upwards as we move forward into the months and years moving forward until we get closer to that $100,000 difference between Edmonton and Calgary. So that's the way I see it. Now let's do something fun. Everybody wants to know what's the high rollers.
All right. So
let's start with Greater Edmonton area. What do you have for the detached?
All right. For the detached in the Greater Edmonton area, we saw a sale of $2.5 million.
Wow.
That is wow.
So that's probably an acreage. I'm
most
guessing.
likely.
Most likely one of those executive style acreages where it's a smaller size lot, say 2-3 acres. But a really nice home, maybe close to the city somewhere. That's what I'm guessing. For Edmonton, we actually had a home inside Edmonton. The detached home that was very close to your price, $2.4 million, 2.435 to be exact. So again,
that's pretty cool.
We are seeing a lot more and more of these higher end homes being listed on the market now. For the longest time, people were building them but not selling them.
Right.
And now it's finally getting to the point where we're starting to see a lot more sales, even in the $3, $4, $5 million range.
Yep.
Not as many, but they're starting to come on the market now.
Yep.
So semi-detached, this is the duplex product.
So for semi-detached in the Greater Edmonton area, we saw the highest sale at $899,900. Wow,
900,000
pretty much. Yeah.
So very, very close. Again, Edmonton, very close to yours, and Edmonton is 867,000
Wow.
for a duplex inside Edmonton area. So there are actually a lot of communities that have high-end duplexes in the whole Greater Edmonton area that are even higher than this. But just goes to show you, interesting.
Yeah.
Townhouse.
For townhouses, we saw the highest sale at $590,000.
Hey, you know what? That must be the one that's inside Edmonton, because that's the same number for me.
Same number. Okay, there you go.
So now, what about apartment style condo?
Wow, for apartment style condo, the highest one is 1.275.
Again, must be in Edmonton because I have the same number.
There you go. Yeah.
So again, it just goes to show you that we're seeing some of these apartment style condos now selling for over $1 million. There's lots of them.
Right.
There's actually much more expensive condos than this. However, we traditionally haven't seen that many that have been on the resale market.
Right.
We've seen a lot of them where they're selling from the
builders?
the builders who are building these towers downtown, and we never see those sales because they're not on the realtor's MLS system.
Yep.
Now we're starting to see some of those come back as a resale unit, and there you go, 1.275. Wow. That represents a really nice apartment style condo. Now some of these are not even penthouses, because penthouses are even more expensive than that. But they still have some nice square footage, beautiful views right downtown, heated underground parking, all these amenities, gyms and lounges, and pretty impressive for sure.
Definitely.
Now, one last thing we want to kind of go over before we wrap this up. Average days on market, and we can compare the average days on market in September of 25 versus September of 24.
Right.
So let's start with detached. How long does it take to sell a detached home in the Greater Edmonton area?
For the Greater Edmonton area, it took an average of, this is interesting, 37 days for this year and 37 days for last year as well.
Exactly the same. How interesting is that?
Didn't change at all.
Yeah. So even though we had a little bit more inventory, we still took the same amount of time to sell. So what does that tell you? Again,
it's pretty stable.
Pretty stable, and we've got still a very healthy amount of buyers that are still buying up all of the really good quality listings, the ones that are move-in ready, that are basically shown to the best, basically something that's been nicely updated. Those are the ones that sell first.
Exactly.
And so they're 37 days. So in Edmonton itself, it's actually, this year it's 38 days, but last year was 36 days. So right kind of around the middle of what you had. Yeah.
Very close.
So semi-detached duplexes, what is it this year versus last year?
So semi-detached, this year is 38 days versus last year of only 29 days.
Aha. I have a very similar stat in Edmonton. It's 36 days versus last year of 29 days. So it did go up a little bit, and that's because the builders are also recognizing that there is that niche in the market where the buyers are seeing the value in those semi-attached or semi-detached properties, duplexes, and there's a lot more of those being built. So we have more inventory of those duplex style. Now, moving on with the row house townhouse.
With the townhomes, we saw an average of 40 days this year versus 36 days last year.
Very similar for Edmonton. It was 39 days this year, 36 days last year.
Yeah.
And apartment-style condos?
Apartment-style condos saw a little different trend of 46 days this year versus 48 days last year.
Interesting. Very similar in Edmonton, 47 days this year, so less than last year's 49 days.
Yeah.
So again, apartment-style condos, we're seeing a lot more people buy into them now because they're so much lower priced than a townhouse or a semi-detached or a single family. And when people are coming in from other provinces, Greater Vancouver area, Greater Toronto area, they're a steal. Like people look at this and they're like, holy smokes, this is like so cheap.
Exactly.
For what you get, it really is an impressive value. So That's why it's not taking as long to sell
Right.
those, even though obviously it takes longer to sell an apartment style condo than a single family home because there's more of them.
Oh, for sure.
In general.
Definitely.
So let's just cover real quickly. All told, just like the
Overall?
average price,
Yep.
what's the average amount of all residential put together? How long does it take to sell versus?
For the Greater Edmonton area, for this year, we were looking at 39 days versus last year of 38 days. So not really much of a
Very,
change.
very close.
Yeah.
For Edmonton, it was 40 days this year and
Yeah.
38 days last year.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's our update for this month of September. We will be, of course, seeing you again next month. I'm interested to see how October plays
Yep.
out. November, December, of course, we're going to see how that all plays out. Of course, we always have ever-changing market conditions. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, put the comments below. We do go through them all. If you guys are considering buying or selling, reach out. The market is very complex with a lot of moving parts, so I would highly recommend that you get a trusted advisor like one of our team members, and we can help you out with your decision-making process. In the meantime, please remember to subscribe and like the video so we can continue creating this content.